Today we're going to be talking about Google Cloud Platform's RAD Lab. RAD Lab enables users to deploy infrastructure to Google Cloud for specific use cases. This is powered by Terraform, which is a tool to automate the infrastructure of your workloads as code. We have what are called modules, and these are those specific workloads. So some of them are pretty generic, like data science or web hosting, but we have more detailed ones like genomics and protein folding. We're constantly adding to this list, and if there's anything you'd like to add, please let us know. To make RAD Lab even more adoptable, we've added something called RAD Lab UI. So this way you can actually come in here and create these deployments without having to know Terraform or having to work with the Linux command line. So you can set this up in your own organization. I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And as I sign in, I'll be able to see deployments for myself and for others within my organization that they've deployed some of these modules that I talked about. And if I want to go ahead and deploy my own, I can come over here, and let's say I'm a data scientist and I don't want to have to write Terraform and get things stood up. I can just come to my organization's RAD Lab UI panel here, click on data science, and then I can provide some variables if I want to make some changes. Luckily, all of these defaults have been set by my administrator. So if I don't understand things like these IP CIDR ranges, I can just go ahead and skip it. If there's anything I want to change, like maybe the instance type or adding more disk to it, these are things I could do, but I'm fine with how it is right now. So I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. And what this is doing is actually going to submit a deployment for us. You can see that it's queued up right now. And what's happening in the background is we're actually running that job on behalf of the user to run the Terraform and spin up that environment. So you can see that the status is working, and I'm able to fetch the logs in real time to see what's going on. Now, if something were to happen or errors, I can see it right here, but typically this runs just fine, and within a few minutes I can come up and have a working deployment. Let me jump back to here and find a deployment that has already completed. I'm going to go ahead and pick this neon one, which is very similar to a data science one. And you can see here that we have got some outputs back. This is what Terraform is returning, some of the things that it's built. And as a data scientist, I'm interested in this notebook. So I'm going to come click on this notebook, and it's going to take me to a Jupyter notebook that has been spun up in my organization's Google Cloud environment. So I can just come straight in here and get straight to work and start running these cells right here. And all this is going to be running on a hosted cloud notebook for me. So as a user, it's incredibly easy for me to just click a few buttons, wait a few minutes, and have a working environment with all the resources of the cloud and all within the context that my administrator has set up to ensure that things like security and policies are followed. Now, if you are an administrator, you can come in here into the Setup tab, which is only viewable by administrators, and provide those top-level variables that normal users won't understand or won't have access to, like a billing account ID, organization ID, and a folder ID. The folder is where you're going to deploy all those RAD Lab resources, so you can set your own policies there. And finally, a default region and a zone. And then, lastly, you can come in here, and these modules, which again are going to be the ones that we saw back over here in the public repo, you can choose which of these you want to deploy to your users. So if you want to just make a subset of them available, you can go ahead and do that. And then each of these will have its own variables that it needs. You can see it's inheriting those variables from the kind of the global admin variables, but it also has its own variables that you can provide here if you want to be able to set budget alerts at different amounts. If you want to pick who is notified, you can do that as well. And then lastly, you can come down here and set policies that you might want as well. You can go through and do this for every module that you have, and when you're done, that will then showcase back in here as which modules your users can deploy from. And so again, you're making it in a very controlled manner that you set their policies and then just give a nice clean interface for users to be able to run and create their own self-service deployments. Lastly, we have documentation to help you as an admin to set this up in your own organization. You'll come in here and find the RAD Lab UI section and follow the installation instructions, very detailed. And if you run into any issues while doing this, please reach out to us. But again, we're seeing so much adoption of RAD Lab because it makes it so incredibly easy to start using the power of the cloud. And we just want to continue this, and that's why we created RAD Lab UI. Thank you.